Hi, this is Kathleen R. Cuyler with Mocha Wave Publishing. Here at Mocha Wave Publishing, we believe that everyone who reads has their own magic. And here we are with our next episode of Mocha Wave Talks, and I'm super excited to introduce you to E.B. Haverly. Oh,
Hello.
I'm so happy that we finally get a meet Zoom to Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom to Zoom, a live in person chat.
I thought it was so interesting the way that I met E.B. Haverly because I met her on a book talk giveaway. I don't know if you remember
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Carrie,
Yep.
Carrie Marino, right? And
Yep.
and she was doing a giveaway for your book, and I was like, oh, it looks so beautiful. I hope I get it. It was this one, right? Vespera.
Yes.
And I was like, I hope and I didn't get it. And then later on, you were on a giveaway for my book, and you're like, I hope I get it. And you didn't get it.
And I didn't get it.
But of course, I wanted it so bad. I wanted it and ordered my own copy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you ferried me yours,
Did
didn't
I?
you?
I think, yeah, I did. I did. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, if you wanted that.
Oh, yeah. I was freaking out because you signed it for me because I was like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to go get it. And then I got it in the mail and I was like, ah! Freaked out.
Well, it's just so I was really excited to meet with E.B. Haverly because I felt like it's kind of like a meeting of, I don't know, twin souls or something. Like we had a lot in common. We liked a
Yes.
lot of the same things. We're doing a lot of the same things. So tell us a little bit about like how did you start writing? Do you want to start there or do you want to just start with a series? How do you want to start?
I can be fast. I can sum up
Okay.
because the first book I ever wrote, I was in first grade.
Oh wow.
No, but yes, but I was always a very avid reader, and I just consumed all the books in our little first grade library,
Hmm.
and I read them all. And of course, it's our classroom library, so it's a little library. It wasn't like the school library, but so I thought I can write my own books. I can do this, and so I wrote it about a girl in her tree that she grew, and there was like her favorite swing that she could go and they like sit with. I don't know. And then I drew pictures. I'm a terrible artist, but as a first grader, I think it was fine. So that was my first writing journey.
Oh.
My first grade teacher, she's still teaching. She hasn't retired yet, but she said I took it home. She said I didn't want the little fingers to rip apart, so she has it
Oh.
in her house.
Oh my God, that's so cute. I love
It's
it.
really cute. I need to ask her, Miss Faith. I need to ask her if she still has it because I'd like at least some pictures of it so I
Yeah.
can show them. Be like, yep, this was E.B. Haverly's first ever work. This was the debut novel
Oh, I
before
love it.
Vespera.
I love
Yep.
it.
So I feel like every writer has to start out as a reader, right?
Hmm.
Um, so we love reading, and then we get inspired by different things. I took just about every type of English elective I could in high school.
Hmm.
Um, like I took poetry and Shakespeare, and then we had a creative writing class, and this was outside of our core classes
Hmm.
and what was required. Loved all of those. Um, which my English teacher at the time, high school English teacher, I wrote a ballad version of like Little Mermaid. We were supposed to like do a retelling, and of course he kept it, and he never gave it back.
You're like,
And
please.
I was like, Mr. Speaks. Oh, so he has it somewhere. It's fine. Uh, but funny enough, when I went to college, I actually originally went for pre med.
Okay. Why
Yes,
is it? Why is it?
totally.
I feel like a lot of authors, and myself included, I feel like we're kind of like headed on a different path. Like we're going to do the sensible thing, right? We're going to go into the lucrative, whatever, or
Right.
science. We might be, and then all of a sudden, fate draws us back somehow.
Yes, my yes and no for me because I was a little sneaky. So I grew up in a very rural area.
Uh-huh.
My hometown I grew up in less than 3,000 people. That town I live in now, which is a different town about 10 minutes away from where I grew up, also has about 3,000 people because it's a lot of cotton fields and stuff.
Yeah.
There's farming goes on here. Um, and I was determined to get out of here, right?
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm going to get out of here. And my family was like, no.
Really?
Yes, not because like not in like a really bad way, but they're like, oh, but you'll be all by yourself.
Oh
You
yeah,
won't
they're
know
being protected.
anybody.
Yeah.
Yes, very protective, concerned, kind of don't do
Yeah.
that. So I was like, if I say I'm gonna go be a doctor and I go to the University of Missouri, which has a medical school on campus, they can't tell me no. So that was my in to get
Okay,
out of here.
you're like, oh yes, our daughter the doctor. Yes.
Right. They're like, oh yay. He's going to be a doctor someday. And I was like, yeah, I have the handwriting for it. My handwritings are horrendous. Um, yeah, as you have a signed copy, so you can be like, oh, yep, just
Yeah,
close that back up.
you have my proof. You have the proof too from me. And it's like,
No, I saw it, and again, like you said, like twin souls. And I was like, we are. uh, but I was also one of those kids in elementary, middle school, high school, like in the gifted and talented program,
mm-hmm.
and everything was easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know how to study. So college was a massive wake up call
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Um, it was bad. So my second semester of doing biology, I was in chemistry two. I don't know how I passed chemistry one. I never took chemistry in high school. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I don't know how this works. Somehow I passed Chem one. Chem two was going real, real bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my chemistry partner, don't do this, kids, but I knew this wasn't meant for me, and I wasn't going to do this forever. But do your own work. I was like, please let me just look at your stuff and just like let me see your homework. Otherwise, we're gonna fail lab. I did all my like exam stuff on my
Uh-huh.
own, but like math and stuff's like over my head. It's like I don't get it.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. As I told her, it's like I'm switching to English next semester. It's like I won't do anything with math ever again, I swear. And she was like, okay. She was very kind. I think she also didn't want to fail.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was gonna go into economics, and that was kind of a math thing.
yeah.
Why do we do
Whoa.
that to
And
ourselves?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know why I did, but I don't know why I stuck with it. I mean, I
Yeah.
was already there. I was
Yeah.
accepted. I was gone. I moved out. They
Yeah.
gotten over it. I could have just switched as soon as I got there, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Typically, the track for women in the area is to marry your high school sweetheart, become a teacher, or be a stay-at-home mom. All those things are wonderful. All those
Mm-hmm.
things are wonderful. But that was all.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. I am now a stay-at-home mom. So I mean but at the time, as an 18-year-old, like big dreams. Like, I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to do that.
Yeah.
Also, I did not have a high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm already set up for failure. I can't do that.
And
Can't be a stay-at-home mom without
yes,
someone with me.
and small towns are hard, it's not always easy to
They
find someone.
they are. They are. But Vespera was always something I was working on. I actually started writing it when I was 15.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and it was nothing like what it is now. It was garbage as a 15-year-old, which is fine because like
You
as you
didn't,
mature as a person, you mature as a writer, you learn
yeah,
more things. And
yeah.
but I always do I have my first copy? We'll get to it in a minute. I meant to grab
Okay.
it and I forgot. I have a first edition that my husband had printed for me. So it's not like officially published and out there with an ISBN number, but it's printed. Totally different story than what Vespera is now. Wildly different. Um, but yeah, it was just something I kept going back to. So I was like, oh, I would really love to write a book. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it never occurred to me it could be a career. So
Wow.
I didn't officially finish it until 2017. And then it went through a rewrite. So in 2020 it was done.
Okay.
Wasn't
So,
published until 2023 because I was like, no one's going to read it. What's the point? So it just stayed on my computer. I know. So it just stayed on my computer forever.
the thing is, and I've said this is, I'm a I'm an open-minded reader, but I'm also a picky reader. Like I'll pick up and try a lot of different things,
Yes.
but I'll only stick with it if it's something that's really interests me. And so I think I am a kind of a picky. And when I started reading this, I was interested, of course, it has a beautiful cover. Those colors are striking.
Thank you.
And the title, the font, and everything. And I thought, well, that was really pretty. And she looks like a fun person for an author. So I think I'll give it a try. Um, and I started reading it. Well, actually, I didn't start reading it. I started listening to it, the audiobook, right? And as I listening to it, because I think I got the audiobook before I got the paperback.
Yeah.
And I'd like, I knew right away, like I could imagine it. Like the family is, I feel like I'm a part of that family. I feel like I understand where she's coming from, and I could picture the world. Like I knew what it looked like, even though it's a fantasy world, but it's a world that seems somewhat familiar in a way. Like we feel like we know what
Mhm.
that looks like just from your description. So
I love
it
it.
drew, it drew me in. And then I started caring about what happens to her, and then things happen to her.
And then things happen. Yeah, lots of things happen.
I'm at, I think we talked about, oh, I'm at chapter 14. So I don't want to give away.
I have my book, so I'm going to open it up, see what that is. Chapter
Silas
14.
is smirking again.
That's his thing.
I
It's his
know. It's like,
thing. And it
I can,
drives her crazy because she's like, oh,
I
stop
know.
it.
And the audiobook narrator, she gets that smirk into his voice like really well.
She's so good. Lexi Lauren is so good. Um, yeah, control. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun chapter.
Yes. I think this is it's interesting. I'm just really curious to know I'm not gonna don't tell me, but I'm really
I
curious.
won't
Like
tell you.
I'm on a hook. Like I really want to know what's gonna happen to her because it's like, okay, this is not giving anything too much away. She's discovering that she has, a different type of power, right?
Mhm,
And then she's starting to learn how to control it, but is she gonna go one way or the other with it? Like,
mhm. Yeah, because
and
there's a dark side to it that she
yeah.
finds out, and it's like, oh, and she is not that in the beginning. She has these awful migraines, and she's terrified of being a burden to her family, and she has no skills, she has no hobbies, but adult day is your 20th birthday when you become an adult.
Yeah.
Makes more sense to me than 18. Two even
Yeah.
decades.
I
But
felt like I was still a child until I got to be like 25.
right. And she's like, well, most girls my age are already married or already are doing something. And but she has no prospects, but her family's not pressuring her to do that. But she's like, I feel like I need to. So, I mean, even though it's in a fantasy setting, I feel like that's very relatable to
Yeah.
every female identifying person in the world.
Yes,
Like we have
exactly.
all these expectations on us, whether they're just kind of implied or it's what we view around us or that's specifically told you need to do this when you grow up. You know, all those change and vary. But, it's something that we can like, oh, I went through that. I went through that. But also she may have superpowers and there's this dark mysterious prince and then there's this other thing. So it's like
I know.
it's still an escape and fun,
Hmm.
but you feel seen. Like that was my goal.
Yes.
So my husband brought this up to me and I never realized it. So in college, one of my favorite quotes ever is by Ralph Waldo Emerson
Hmm.
from American Scholar. Oh, I'm going to sound like a big nerd. Um, but it's an American Scholar is kind of like a short essay, more like, because it wasn't a novel per se. But he was describing how the American people at the time, how hardworking they were
Hmm.
and how they just strive to get what they want and like the whole idea of the American dream and what that is. And so the quote is to now endure, to now fly, to now inspire. And I love it so much. I love it so
Yeah.
much. So my husband pointed out, like I was mentioning a second ago, that because Vespera will be a trilogy, and then there will be like spin-offs of side characters and stuff within the world. But hers will be done in three books. And he said, it feels like you're modeling these books after your quote that you like so much. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Isn't it cool when you look back and you see all the things that made you you and they start coming out in your work, right?
Yes, yeah.
I,
Because this, like, she goes through it. Like lots of things happen. And of course it's a fantasy novel. The character goes through things. Like there's trauma. Like that's just part of the
yeah.
formula. And then the second book is her, no spoilers, but her reflecting on a lot of that. And sometimes it's not an easy thing to reflect on. Like
Mm,
she has panic attacks and she
okay.
suffers from dissociation and stuff from the things that happened to her. And
Yeah.
it's very like PTSD-esque
Mm.
in places, which makes sense because in the very beginning of this book, like chapter 5, she goes through a lot.
Yes, yes. I was like, ooh.
She goes through a lot.
I was
And
mad at you.
yeah, I'm so sorry. It was hinted at in
No,
in
it
the in
was.
the
It
back.
was.
It
I had
wasn't
an
a huge
audiobook. I
spoiler.
didn't read anything. I just started listening.
Oh no. Oh no.
I kind of figured something was going to happen, but it's like, don't let it happen. Don't let it happen.
Oh, yeah, it's like no. Hello, Pico. This
Oh,
is yeah, she's my rotten baby. This
oh.
is Vigo is my handicapped cat. She has one eyeball and it is has cataracts in it, so she has like 30% vision.
Oh.
So
So
she's my stage 20 clinger
she needs to be with you.
all the time. Yeah, we
Hmm.
found her when she was like 5 weeks old.
Oh,
So yeah, she's a
yeah.
sweet girl.
Yeah.
Okay, you met quit clawing
I
me.
also have two black cats.
Oh,
I love
I love it.
See, we're so much alike in so many ways.
So
They
much.
were at the pound. They were going to be put down the next day.
Oh
So we were like, we had to choose
no.
one, and we couldn't just choose one. We like, no, they're both.
No.
So
That's terrible. You're
I'm
just
not going to
like
leave
pick
one.
one. You can only save one. Like,
No. And the, and then the person at the pound said, like, you know what? You can have buy one get one free type thing. You can get both of them.
Oh, that's
And I was
really
like, I think
nice.
they were really wanting to help, get those to
Yes.
ensure that we
Oh,
did. So I was
good.
like, okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
black cats.
Vigo, my son, I have a 6-year-old and I have a 3-year-old, and my 6-year-old is very imaginative. He has named 2 of our 3 cats. This is the middle child. Um, he mispronounced Bingo. He wanted to name her Bingo, and it came out Bigo, and it stuck.
Oh, of course.
Yes, so it's just Beego.
I
B.
thought you were saying Vigo, like Vigo Mortensen.
Nope, nope. Bigo.
Vigo. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh,
Vigo would make sense because that's a real name,
yeah.
but no, Vigo. The eldest we have is Perot, which
Mhm.
is a feline twist of Hercule Poirot
Oh, I
from
love it.
Agatha Christie. Yes,
Yes.
because Perot is a tuxedo cat and he has a mustache.
Oh, how cute. I love it. I love it.
And then our third kitty is Tai Lung. And if you enjoy animated movies, Kung Fu Panda, the bad guy is a snow leopard, like a gray snow leopard, and his name is
Okay.
Tai Lung. And
Okay.
that's what my son named this other cat. So yeah, those are my
Okay.
my yeah, I know. It's wild. But
It's so interesting how cats kind of like their names, right? And sometimes you think their name's going to be one thing, and then it turns out to be whatever you just start, saying to them, right? It's just
and
like
you keep
whatever.
adding things. Like Bigo, whenever I was streaming, because she would sit here while I was playing games, like she's in my lap right now. And so I started calling her Bigo the Pirate Kitty because someone said you should get her an eye patch because she only has one eye. And I'm like, oh, that'd be hilarious. Okay, so while we were on break, I grabbed this because I mentioned it earlier. This is the very first edition of Vespera. I gotta hold it in front of my face so it doesn't blur. Um, my mom made this cover because she does graphic design and art. She's an art teacher. And this was a surprise by my husband. I was still working on it. And so he thought that if I print what she has, then she'll be motivated to finish it. And yes, and his coworker accidentally ruined the surprise. I went to visit him for his birthday and I brought him a cake to his work. And she goes, "Oh, I bet you're so excited about him printing your book." I'm like,
You're like, what?
yeah. So then I went into full panic mode because I'm like, it is not ready. It's not ready. And so I rushed to come up with something, and things are wildly different. This is awful. It's crap. I want to like toss it. And it's not good. It's and it's not bad, but compared to what it is now, this is not it.
Yeah.
Like, so on a live, I brought this up. The only reason why this has seen the light of day is because, you know, people are like, "Oh, your debut novel is really great," and in their opinion, they didn't think that they could quite write to add all these things in it, and everyone is their own worst critic, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, FYI, Vespera was a 15-year project.
Yes.
Lots of things happened in between this, before this, and this. So, and then I also have, you know, my degree in English with literature analysis, creative writing, and then I have a degree in psychology. So I'm formally trained in all of that stuff. I interned at a publication. Like, I did all of those things. Most people don't have the opportunity to do that. So I got this out on a live explaining all of those things, and I read the first page, which you're going to laugh, is of course a dream sequence in italicized letters.
Oh,
right? And it's like, you know, you're like, oh, I get it. And
yeah.
it's just, it's
so
so
fun
cringy.
when we're that age. It's like, that is so
oh, that's it.
like melodrama.
Yes. I'm not going to read it on here, but maybe I'll read from it and make a TikTok of it.
So when you decided that you're going to go ahead and or continue with this, first of all, how did you go about like deciding to publish? I mean, did you always know that you wanted to publish? Did you decide like you're going to go with a publisher, or did you know you were going to do it self-publish? How did you?
That was a journey, to steal your words. I tried sending the you know, the traditional queries and reaching out to agents. So for people who don't know, when you want to do traditional publishing, it's very hard to just straight up send it to a publisher, because they're like, haha, and then they move on because they don't have the time, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
find an agent to represent you, and they are someone who already has a name in the business. They have a portfolio, and they're like, hey, I believe in this. And then publishers are like, oh, okay, let's take a look. But you have to get through that first level, right?
Yeah.
And you have to, and they don't read your whole book. You send a chapter, you send X amount of words, and you can pick from anywhere in your book to try and like convince them to read it. And then you also have to do a full synopsis in a page. Queries are hard. They're very hard. And then you send those out to people and wait for the rejection letter to come in, because it takes about 20 to 30 agents in today's time, because they get so much stuff. And it's not that your writing's bad. Every reply that I receive, because sometimes you don't get a reply, that hurts.
Yeah.
But on the replies that I receive, they're like, this sounds cool, but this isn't what I'm looking for my portfolio right now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Okay.
sometimes the rejection letters are, you know, like quite nice. You know, they're like complimentary, and sometimes it's like, no, you know, like just no, it's not. We don't have time.
It's just, they're never mean,
Yeah.
but they're just like, nope, it's not a good fit for me. And you're like, okay. So I give up relatively quickly because I really get in my feels about things. I only sent 10 query letters.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm just going to wait. If I've got this many rejections, maybe I need some more revision. Maybe I need more this and that. None of their letters said that. That's just my head telling me
Mhm.
that. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. Um, and then it sat and sat for a couple years. And so then at home, I like finished it. But I was trying to gain the courage to send out query letters again, and
Mm.
it just wasn't happening. So my husband, bless him, um, basically dared me. And he's like, have you looked into self-publishing? And I'm like, kind of, sort of, because I went to school and interned at a publication. Self-publishing never even crossed my mind
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was kind of bougie and a bit of a snob about it. And I was like,
Hmm.
it's not good if you self-publish. Like that's the only way you can get published, which is wrong. It's
Yeah.
totally wrong. But that was my original concept. So I hadn't even thought about it. And I told him, I was like, well, I bet it's just too hard. I'm sure it's too hard. It would be really complicated for me to do all this all by myself. I'd have to make a cover. I'd have to edit it because we don't have the money to, well, we don't have the budget to do all those things. We're saving for our kids' college and stuff. I'm like, eh. So I had to teach myself to do all that because he was like, I bet it isn't that hard. He said, I think you're just saying that. And I was like, no, it's that hard. So I went on Amazon on KBD to prove him wrong, and I had a book in 2 hours.
Wow.
And I was like, oh no, this was not that hard.
I know you start going, you click here, click there. Oh,
Right.
okay. Okay.
I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Okay. I mean, I still had to like go and make this and all that, but like
Yeah.
as far as formatting the book and getting it done, it was not nearly as hard as I thought. So like I was
Yes.
sitting right here staring at my computer screen, like there's a bubble that says that they'll approve my book in 72 hours and I
You're like,
can order a copy. And I'm just like, and this is like the 11 p.m. at night. And I yell for my husband because our bedroom is like right around this corner. And I was like, babe. And he came, look, he goes, holy crap, holy crap, this is awesome. And I'm just in shock. Like, I published my book. I did it. Whoa. It's wild.
my understanding is that even though you publish through traditional, you're still a lot of the marketing, a lot of the trying to get the book out is up to the author.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I don't know if there's a big difference besides there's that brand name on it versus I don't know
Yeah.
if
So in my experience, it really just depends on your priorities
mhm.
and your timeline and your schedule.
Okay, gotcha.
So for self-publishing, you do have to do all of the legwork yourself, or you hire it out.
Hmm.
Versus if you traditionally publish, you have an agent who does that for you. They call and make the setups for like signings and things, or they
Okay,
can. It depends on your contract. Yeah, you
gotcha.
can negotiate all those things. Um, Also, the way you get paid is very different.
Uh-huh.
Once you get signed with a publisher, they're like, okay, here's the contract, here's the deal. We sell this many, you get this much money, and you
Hmm.
get half now, and blah 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 blah, or whatever. It's all
Hmm.
negotiable, which your
Yeah.
agent helps is your person to help with that because they've
Hmm.
negotiated contracts for their entire career. Um, so you have peace of mind that you have someone in your corner, and the agent will always get you the best deal because they don't get paid until you get paid.
Okay, so they're very motivated.
Yes, they're very motivated. And which is why a lot of them are very picky because they're like, if I don't think I can properly represent this, I'm not going to get paid.
Gotcha.
So I mean, you have to keep that in mind. It's not that they don't like your writing. They're like,
Hmm.
can I represent this in a way where everyone makes money? Because that's all it's about for traditional
Hmm.
publishing. It's just making money.
Yeah.
But the publisher pays you out and then
Hmm.
they have access and like they have the bankroll, right? So they can pay to have thousands of copies printed right then,
Hmm.
and they're printed, and then they get it at super low cost because the more you print the cheaper it gets
Gotcha.
for printing companies.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
this, we're deep diving into publishing. I hope that's okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna take a little detour there, but that's okay. That's
it's
it.
very detailed. Um, So, but as an indie author, you can't do all of that.
That's true.
Like, I don't have millions of dollars in a bank and just be like, I want 10,000 copies, please. Like, where would they go?
You know, first we need
And
a warehouse.
right, it's like that's just impossible. It's just not doable for me. So I order about 75 to 100 copies at a
Hmm.
time. Um, and that's now. When I was first starting out, I ordered like 10 paperbacks and then I'd have to wait and then sell those to make some money back and then order
Hmm.
10 more paperbacks and then slowly build it up.
Uh-huh.
So now I can order, you know, 75 to 100 at a time. Uh, and thankfully, my library account, my EV Haverly account, is in the black. So I'm a happy camper.
That's that
That's my
is
goal. It's great.
that is amazing. That is amazing.
Yes, it's
That,
just it's very hard too. And then calling different bookstores and or coffee shops as you do this, like you have your launch
mhm,
coming up, so
mhm,
um, like doing all this stuff, you have to negotiate with the bookstores because some
mhm.
bookstores will not carry your book if it's not set as returnable through your publication. Mine is not set to returnable because I
Mhm.
cannot afford for it to be returnable.
No, no, because I was reading and that, you know, if someone returns it, you pay.
Anyway, Ingram Spark, there's three options for your books to be set as returnable. So yes, they can be returned. Two options under that. They can be returned and you get them, which means you have to pay for the return fee. So you have to pay
Oh,
back the
okay.
bookstore. And then you have to pay for shipping for it to be shipped to you, which is way more expensive than you just directly having it shipped to you. Like a return shipment is $3 per book. It's a flat fee. And it's wild, wild. So then your second option is returnable, but you don't send it to me. So that way you save on shipping costs, but then they destroy your books.
Okay.
And then
Hmm.
it's like, ugh, ugh. It hurts.
I know you.
I'm paying for you to burn my books. And then your third option is no returnable.
And then,
Um, yeah. So, but with like indie bookstores, they have to, keep themselves safe in their bottom
yeah.
dollar. So
Yeah.
if they're like, well, if I take a chance on you and order your books and they don't sell, I'm stuck with them.
Mm.
And it's like, I get it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So my workaround is I buy my own books and then
Mm-hmm.
I call the bookstore and I'm like, I will bring my books. I get 60% of the sales. You get 40. So I'm basically paying you a fee for like renting out your shop. And then you can buy a couple at wholesale from me if you want to keep them on your shelf. So that way they don't have to pay for shipping.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for shipping and we don't have to worry about any of that other stuff.
And then,
And
you know, hopefully if they start selling, then they're like, oh, send more. You're like,
right. And then
yeah,
they can order their own because they feel more confident
yeah,
in the turnout
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
And so that way, and we have
That's
good relationship that way.
that's smart, very smart. And you also have your own website where you sell merch and books, right?
Yes, I do. It's
Tell us.
evhaverlyauthor.com. Okay, let me move my stuff. This is one of the shirts, Spectre of the Natala, and it has like
Ooh,
little,
those eyes, those
I
eyes.
know it's good. And
I
I
love.
love this one. This will come up later. You're not
Okay,
there yet.
okay. I'm like, ah.
I know there's like little sneaky things. If you know, you know. Um, yes, but I have the first book on there, and then the second book is also available, Vestiges.
Yeah.
She's a little bit bigger, but I cheated in a way when it came to printing them because I have to have my books look pretty all together on the shelf. They all have to be the same size.
I love that.
This is actually 50,000 more words than this one,
Really?
even though they look the same, because I tweaked spacing.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
also saves everyone money because it's not as big of a book.
So I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna look now because I have.
If you look at the
Yes, I
line
okay.
spacing,
Yeah, the line spacing is a little different. Yeah, I see it.
just a tiny bit different. It's like 0.25 different.
I like it though. I like this. I like this spacing.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
But
And you also have what are they called? The baseball tees.
I have the baseball tees. I don't have one.
I,
I don't
I
have
got
one here. I
I
need to
have one
get
on
one.
order. I have one on order, but they're just I love the
Yes.
colors. I don't know if you're gonna I can get you
I
to
have
tell us
more.
this. Okay.
So this is Rogue
Rogues.
City. Oh, bring it. It has to
Here we
see my face. There you
okay, that
go. It says where
rogues.
everyone has a role to play.
I love that.
And then I have a Silas sweatshirt. These come in all different colors too. Most of them are themed around green, red, and blue because those are the colors of the books. And the third
Cannot.
book will
That's
be
what I was going to ask you. So if we could
red.
figure out what color the next one was, a little spoiler about that,
Yes.
little
Yes.
sneak peek.
Little sneaky peek. And then this one. This is a quote. He says, "You haven't got there yet. I will burn this entire city down to find you." Ish. I'm paraphrasing. To the ground is a little bit more.
I love that.
I'll burn this entire city to the ground to find you.
Like him.
Yeah. And then Vespera. So this is
Oh,
also representative of how the country is in half because you don't get a map in Vespera. So a lot of people were like trying to visualize things, right? So Capilius is on this side, on the west side of the
mhm.
country, and its colors are gold and red. And then Rocalia is on the east side of the country, and they are blue and silver. So I made this.
I love it, and I love the name.
Okay.
You're so creative with the
Oh,
names of the places and the was it Devium? I'm hearing it, so I'm not re
devium.
Devium.
Yes. Yeah,
Ooh,
because it's based off of like devious.
yes, I kind of felt that the smirk
Mm-hmm.
in his voice.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have Jeb. I don't know if he's going to come back or not. Just don't tell me. Okay, don't tell me.
I don't say anything.
And then there's Silas, and then there's this king,
Those Prince Alron.
the prince, yes, the prince.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely a connection there. Like she keeps
Yes.
on thinking about him. So we'll see what happens with Vespera. But I think I like that you chose like the original cover. You know, it seemed like it didn't emphasize her as much. And I think
Mm-hmm.
like even though it's not a person on your cover, I feel like this is like more representative just with the colors and the glow
Mm-hmm.
that feels more and hence the name right there. It feels more like it could be more well she has the like this is very representative kind of like her powers, right?
So I also have the tattoo of the mark on the front here. Do I have? I don't know where my stickers are. Anyway,
I have
so
this one.
this. Oh, okay. Yes, it's the same thing. So her, got to get close. Her daggers are going through at an X there, and then this
Okay.
is a sword. Those are three separate weapons,
Okay, gotcha.
and then they are all stabbing through the star. So this is the mark that appears on her arm
Okay,
and
gotcha.
his arm.
Yeah. Okay.
And hers has a legitimate green glowing star that turns on her skin. And
Hmm.
then he has the blue one. So
Starting
you
to
saying that I think it's representative of the people. And it's like, oh, well,
yeah,
Kathy's got it.
I got it. Yes. I love it. It's gonna be like you said, it's gonna look so good. Like when you have this on the shelf
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be like the next one. I can't
Yes.
wait.
Okay, I'm going to get my phone. I'm going to sneak peek at the third one because I already have the third cover done.
Okay, alrighty. Yes, please.
I'm really excited. It's like, ooh, I think it's very
I was like,
pretty.
I didn't know if I dare ask.
Oh, no, I'm excited. Please ask because I can just be like, no.
I also
Let
have the sticker that
me,
has like
yes. So that's the map. My husband drew that.
it's awesome.
Yeah, he's very great. Okay. So the third book will be called Variant,
Variant.
and then this is the cover.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Let me
Is
see.
it see it blurs?
There's it. Yeah, it blurs when you get close. Oh, I love
Yeah,
it. I love
so
it.
it's red and then there's red lightning going up. And so the mark is more faded.
I can't wait. I mean, I gotta finish reading them.
Hints,
I have to finish reading them, but I'm
hints
like,
and things.
I want to have the, I want to have the set. Well,
Hopefully, next year, the current like date time window is next fall. So fall
okay.
2025. I'm hoping to be done a little bit earlier than that. I say that, and I only have about 2.5 chapters written,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm also a pantser writer, so it
Hmm.
makes things difficult.
Yeah. You got to feel your way. You got to see what ifs. That's what I do too.
Hmm. Yeah, I put my characters through improv situations and see what happens.
Yeah. I do that. Like right now in my book, I'm trying to like see which Sherlock Holmes story I'm going to use for the book 3. And so I'm like, let's see what happens if
Yes.
I put in this one. Let's see what happens if I put in this.
I would be so interested to see because they always have this little bit of tension, right? But I feel
Mhm.
like after the second book, she's much more like, oh, Edna. And just it hurts so much and I love it. But I would love to see Irene Adler show up.
Mm, that
And I'm
would be.
like, what kind of tension would that entail? Like,
Hmm.
but of course, I don't know what direction you want to go in, but
Yeah.
I was very curious
That
about it.
actually might make sense in the context of
Oh,
where the story's going.
oh,
Okay. So
okay.
I have to look and see if that, like the time that that's supposed to be set. I have to double check that because it needs to make sense in the
Right,
chronology.
right,
But
right.
thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to meet you. I want to do this again. We got to do this again sometime.
Yes, we do. And hopefully I can make it for your launch because I'll be in the area.
And you're having was it a book signing event?
Yes, book signing event with both Vespera and Vestiges in Pflugerville, Texas on November 16th at the Book Burrow from 4 to 7.
Oh, it's exciting. She's coming to Texas.
I'm going to Texas. I'm really excited. And I will have some merch. I won't be able to bring a whole lot.
Hmm.
Um, and then stickers and bookmarks and all little goodies. And then I'll be there to geek out about all the books, not just mine, but just all the books.
I know. Like books are like it's just somehow they have like a really good feeling, like
Yes,
that's
yes.
your world, your world. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure and all the
Thank you for
best. And
having me.
I'm so excited to read the rest of this.
I'm
uh,
excited for you to read it too. You're going to be real mad at me. It's fine.
oh, I'm like, oh,
You are already mad at me, so it's not
I
like you
am,
didn't
I
know
am.
you were going to continue to be mad at me.
But
So,
that is a good thing. That means you're emotionally traumatizing me, which is a good thing for writers. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I can't wait.
okay, bye.
Bye bye.